Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to unpack a real mystery, a fascinating puzzle that's hiding in plain sight within the global silver market. Now, on the face of it, everything looks totally normal. But when you look a little closer, you start to see this strange disconnect, a paradox that might just be shifting the entire balance of power for silver.
So get this. Here's the core of the mystery we're diving into. We are seeing a huge amount of actual physical silver being taken out of warehouses by investors. Now, common sense tells you that means one thing: scarcity, right? Demand is high, but the market's pricing is telling us the complete opposite. It's suggesting there's a surplus, that there's plenty of silver to go around. So how in the world can both of those things be true at the same time?
Okay, to get to the bottom of this, first you got to know the two main players on the field. Understanding what they do is absolutely key to solving this thing. All right, so on one side, you've got COMEX, based in the US. The easy way to think of it is a place to bet on the future price of silver. But here's the twist. You can actually cash in your winning bets for real, physical silver bars. And that is exactly what's been happening. Then across the pond, you have the LBMA in London. This is the big one, the world's main hub for trading the actual metal you can hold in your hand today. So, we've got US futures versus London's physical market.
Okay, let's grab our first clue. This one is hiding in plain sight, right in the market's pricing. It's the part of the story that suggests everything is fine, that there's more than enough silver for everyone. And the key word you need to know here is contango.
So, what on earth is contango? It sounds complicated, but it's really not. It simply means that the price to have silver delivered to you in the future is higher than the price to get it right now, today. You're basically paying a little extra to lock in your purchase for a later date.
And this chart shows it perfectly. See that first bar on the left? That's today's price, what they call the spot price. Now look over at the bar on the right. That's the price for silver delivered sometime in the future. It's higher, right? That gap, that upward slope between today and tomorrow, that's contango.
And here's the key takeaway. Normally, this happens when nobody is in a rush. The market is basically saying, hey, no worries, take your time, we've got tons of this stuff. It signals a comfortable, well-supplied market, maybe even a surplus. So, that's clue number one. The prices are screaming that everything is fine.
But, and this is a big but, let's look at our second clue. We need to shift gears from what the computer screens are saying to what the actual physical vaults are telling us. Because believe me, a very, very different story is playing out there. And I'm not just talking about a trickle. We are talking about a flood. A massive torrent of physical silver is just leaving the system. This isn't your neighbor buying a few silver coins. This is a huge structural shift. And this, our clue number two, totally contradicts that calm, everything's fine message we got from contango.
So what's actually going on here? Well, investors on the COMEX could just sell their paper contracts and take a nice, easy profit. But they're not doing that. Instead, they're going through the hassle of demanding the real deal, the actual heavy physical silver bars. They're taking delivery. And the second they do that, that metal is pulled completely out of the supply that's available for trading. Poof, gone.
Okay, so let's put on our detective hats. We have two clues that just don't seem to fit together. On one hand, the market price says, plenty of silver for everyone. But on the other hand, the vaults are screaming, help, it's all disappearing. So how do we make sense of this? Let's piece it all together.
Okay, here's how the logic works. That contango, the sign of a surplus, it makes perfect sense if you're only looking at the silver that's still in the global trading system. But the huge withdrawals at COMEX tell us that a very specific group, US investors, are taking their silver and going home. They're taking it completely out of that system. This silver isn't just moving to a different warehouse, it's effectively vanishing from the world's tradable supply.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what? Who cares if some investors in the US want to stack physical silver? Well, it turns out it matters a lot. And it creates an enormous problem for the other major player in this game, London.
And this is really where all the pieces of the puzzle come together to create a pretty worrying picture, especially if you're the London Bullion Market Association, the LBMA. To put it bluntly, this whole trend is really, really bad news for them.
So let me break it down. The LBMA's entire reputation, their whole reason for being, is that they are the central stockpile of physical silver for the whole planet. But if US investors are using COMEX as a kind of backdoor to drain that physical metal out of the system, well, they're draining London's pool. Every single bar that goes into a private vault in the US is a bar that's no longer in London, and that directly challenges their dominance.
And that leaves us with a really powerful question about the future. For decades, London has set the price, they've called the shots, but if the actual metal, the real source of value, keeps making this quiet journey across the Atlantic, we could be watching a fundamental shift in financial power in real time. This silver paradox, it's so much more than a market curiosity. It might just be the sign that the ground itself is shifting beneath one of the world's most important markets.